Homelessness is increasing dramatically in France and all over the world. House prices has globally risen at their fastest rate for the last 40 years. Rents are also soaring. In Europe, they increased by 15% in the first 3 months of 2022. In Asia and America, people spend more than half their income on rent.
The number of homeless people doubled here in France in the last decade. In the UK, homelessness is soaring. The number of people living in the street has risen by 21% from 2022 to 2024, and by 45% since 2012. The US saw a dramatic rise in homelessness at the start of 2024, counting 80% more unhoused people during its annual tally in January than the year before.
Le punk, je t'aime, et tout ce que je connais de bien, je te le dois. Et chaque fois qu'un squat fermera, je gueulerai comme un putois. Coupe-nous la tête, il en pousse deux, avec des chicots plus dégueux. Si le punk est mort, je crois qu'on est nécrophile. Nécrophile.
A decade ago, our president stated the following.
La première bataille, c'est de loger tout le monde dignement. Je ne veux plus, d'ici la fin de l'année, avoir des femmes et des hommes dans les rues, dans les bois ou perdus.
So why is that? By 2025, we see quite an opposing view from the very same government. It's a rhetorical question, of course. We all knew that electing a banker would mean economic collapse.
Non mais c'est interdit. Alors faut partir, monsieur. Non, faut partir maintenant.
Madame, je vais vous dire, c'est sale, la voirie est défoncée, il y a problème hygiène, insalubrité, insécurité.
In France, in 2024, 855 people died while homeless. Among them, 31 were children. And the worst part is that we do have available houses. In the UK, there are no more than 700,000 empty houses, with a good chunk of those that are classed as long-term empty, meaning that no one has lived there for 6 months or more. In the USA, millions of homes are still being kept vacant as housing costs surge with an average vacancy rate of 7%. And in France, we are the worst as we stand at 8% of vacant homes, which correspond to 3.1 million houses.
The housing crisis might seem like one of those unsolvable problems, like poverty, that will endure despite any effort to fix it. But that's not true. Homelessness is a capitalistic tool, a tool used by the dominant class, the bourgeoisie, to oppress the workers and keep them in a position where they have no other option than to work. Vacant housing is a part of this intricate system, increasing the speculative value of each unit owned. And this works so well because land ownership is highly concentrated among the wealthy. The top 10% of the wealthiest US citizens own 50% of all real estate value. Vacant home is not all, as despite some clear and obvious inequalities and immoralities, there is still not enough housing built for everyone. The world needs to build 96,000 new affordable homes every day to house the estimated 3 billion people who will need access to adequate housing by 2030.
For those of you who are wondering how we house ourselves, well, we use a trusty cashew tent that have the amazing ability to pop out in 2 seconds. One of the main perks of having this kind of tent is they are really flexible, so I can basically fall into them and they will stretch back. One of the main downfalls of living in tent, especially really light ones such as this, is that they are really easily tearable, such as this, especially when you have a dog such as yourself to protect your guts. So this is the fourth, fifth,
Six.
this is the sixth tent that one of our dogs, especially one of them, destroyed. So we are really eager to pass to the new kind of habitat, which will be in wood and clay.
We live in rocky hills covered in forests that have already been inhabited by humans for the last hundreds of years. They shade the region by building walls called fayas that allowed for terrace agriculture. Nowadays, the region is abandoned and the forest reclaims the land, leaving ruins of what was once habited. The ancient constructed long-lasting build using the abundance of rocks of the region and lime. Nowadays, what's left from their home is often the walls made from solid rocks. Unfortunately, starting directly from rocks and lime is too hard, as we will need a working furnace. So instead, we choose to use wood and clay for most of our construction. We started by digging a hole in the hill and piling up the earth in 2 stacks on each side. It took us months, and now that we leveled the floor, we can start cutting wood. To avoid the wood from rotting, we plan to cut them with pine tar. This will be the first step as we plant multiple chestnut pillars to support the walls and create a frame. We have cut our first tree recently using a blunt axe and a rusty saw. It takes a long time to build a home, but it's really rewarding to see it take shapes.
To be clear, we aren't advising people to go live in tents and construct everything by themselves without any modern tools. This would actually be way easier and quicker with more people, money, and material, even something as common as a car. We are talking about a new way to make houses with sustainable methods and recyclable natural materials. There are great models that already exist all over the world, so let's take a look at a few examples. The Earthship. It was invented and popularized in New Mexico's desert. They are built using unconventional, recycled materials for an off-grid system in a place where the temperature can get as low as -20 and as high as 30 degrees Celsius. Walls are made of old tires filled with rocks and covered in clay. Recycled glass bottles are used to create an ambient's natural light. They're also designed with a greenhouse directly inside to grow food and warm the house, because the New Mexico desert is quite a hard and harsh environment. The temperature is balanced using a massive pile of dirt that keeps the cool of the night during the day and the heat of the day at night. This technique relies on ancient methods and materials, as construction blocks made of dirt have been used for centuries to build long-lasting monuments and houses that isolated and protected people from harsh weather. Stone houses are extremely sturdy as well, able to last through the passage of time and resist very well catastrophes or intense weather. They are most common in regions where timber is scarce and stones are abundant, which explain why they are everywhere in the Mediterranean. There is also the brick house, made of cooked clay. It's basically a way to transform soil into rocks in order to make a stone house in an environment where stones aren't a reliable building material. We must also talk about cob houses, also called adobe houses, made of a mix of clay, sand, and straw. This sturdy and primitive build can be found all over the world, where wood and stone could not be used as a reliable building material. Some examples are from Africa, the Middle East, South Asia, but also Western Europe. England has one of the largest cob community, with cob houses still in use today that are hundreds of years old. Sometimes, straw can be used on its own, or combined with wood to make straw bale houses. These techniques originated from the USA. It consists of using compacted bales as giant bricks. It is fairly modern, as it only became possible after the invention of the mechanical hay baler. Each of those methods are cheaper for ecological and economical purpose than concrete. Those houses are made using natural and local material. They are so well insulated they can keep a balanced temperature throughout the year, and if well taken care of, can last for centuries. And that's within accounting for how many modern houses are left empty or in ruins that legally people can't use. Think of the freedom people could have if they could settle anywhere and tend to the land without worrying about being kicked out to the streets, despite it being illegal to live on the streets. It's even proved that it costs more to society to have people unhoused, both monetarily and socially. Denmark, for example, keeps decreasing the number of homelessness in the country by giving free housing to the people in need. Here, in France, our government is far from the progress made by Denmark. However, we still have the left wing defending some socialist ideals. During extreme weather events, for example, La France Insoumise committed for the municipality it gets elected in to requisition empty housing for the safety of the unhoused. So it is possible to build a better future. We could move away from the nightmare that is a capitalistic town made of small concrete compartments, subject to quick degradation to keep the industry profit high. The capitalist housing system is both harmful to the environment and the human inhabiting it. We could dream of living in a town that is alive, filled with people, trees, and animals cohabiting in one big ecosystem, where humans are a part of nature again, where we stop destroying already well-tuned and balanced ecosystems to replace them with concrete buildings and parallel streets. An ecosystem where humans and their needs are met without having to chip away part of nature. From housing to farming, livestock care, workshops, markets, all those infrastructures are essential for a community to thrive and grow. But they need to be implemented in a respectful way that allows nature to produce the resources we need to live. That's where permaculture comes in. Growing and caring for fruits, vegetables, legumes, nuts, and grains all around places you live, with free roaming livestock that helps regenerate the soil, prunes the vegetation, with pollinating insects that strengthens the flora capacity to grow and prosper. It's like so much more. In time, this ecosystem could grow so strong that it could become a godlike being, capable of reshaping the world. By fertilizing the soil, by making it rain more often, which will reshape the entire landscape with streams and rivers, by providing vital shade, and of course, by eating away carbon and by producing oxygen, rainforests are a true wonder. The biggest rainforest in the world is the Amazon rainforest, which was once a permaculture forest, tended and cared for by humans. So, rather than cutting it down for fuel, let's make more. Let's build a god.
No, a goddess, a goddess. It's the female that bring life, so it doesn't make any fucking sense to call that a god. That's it for this video. We love you and appreciate you. See you. Bye.
Tu tournes pas rond, mais moi j'avoue j'adore ça. Te voir tracer ta route à l'arrache en zigzag. Ils font pitié tous ces marins d'eau douce. Moi j'avoue j'adore ça quand tu fais des vagues. Bébé monstre, reste comme t'es. Tant que je suis là t'auras de l'amour, je te promets. Bébé monstre, les écoute pas. De toute façon les humains c'est surcoté. Sérieux t'es mal à gueule que ça. Ouais t'es mal à gueule que ça.